I get into a firefight with a player. I was a scav and he was a PMC, and I get into a firefight.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to kill this dude. You know, I'm going to show him who he's messing with. And he's like, I started shouting all sorts of Irish at him. And he goes, wait, is that Mr. Gibbon? I was like, who the fuck is this dude? I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, man, I'm not going to kill you. It's your buddy. I was like, who the fuck's my buddy? Who? and he was like, it's Chris, man, the fireman. And I was like, no shot. And he was like, yeah, he got the PlayStation. Yeah. They got a TV. They have it all rigged up. He bought God of War, and his mates are playing NFL and NBA all the time. And I was just like, I better not be the reason why you don't go out for a call because you're all playing the fucking God of War or something.
We're live. Welcome.
How are we?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Oh, well, everybody, welcome to this special podcast on BSG's channel for this New Year's Eve event, or New Year's event. This is the final day, final interview, and I couldn't be happier to have Mr. Gibbons join me.
How are we? How are we all doing? I feel so like this. What I was thinking about when you said, oh, come on, you got to do this interview. I was like, I feel so bad for those who don't have Instagram or they don't have TikTok because they probably won't have a clue who I am. Did I use this guy with the curly hair and the pearls? You know, that's what they're probably saying. And I'm just this average dude who just plays video games for a living.
Well, I'll tell you what, people know you because earlier this week I had Pestily on, and I asked him a question. I said, if you were to start this all over again, how would you do it? And I saw it. Yeah, he said he would do what Mr. Gibbons did.
That's unbelievable. Like, out of every single person in the world, he referenced my name, and I was like, "What? Is he drunk? Do you know what I mean? Like, is he what? Because there's so many amazing creators on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, on Twitch, that have been doing this far longer than I have. Like, I've only been doing this for a year. Like, I've been streaming 2 years, but I've only been doing Tarkov content for a year. And there's guys out there that have been doing it since it was released. And to see the Pestily reference my name, I was just like, what? That's insane. It's unbelievable. So big thanks to Pest. Cheers, cheers, dude.
I thought that was wow. That's but
that was
huge. What you've done in the last year, the way you've exploded, is just fantastic. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much. No, I wouldn't have been here now if it wasn't for the likes of yourself and then everybody else that's watching Utopia now. So thank you. Thanks a million. Right.
So this is a Tarducks podcast. What we do is I bring on people to talk about, content creators to talk about, share their experiences, advice, and their stories. And Mr. Gibbons is joining me. And what we do normally is we start off with 3 random questions. And are you ready, sir?
Oh, yes. Shoot me.
All right.
Do it.
So is there a fast food joint that you visited in the States that you wish you had home?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we were talking about this yesterday in the stream. White Castle.
Really?
Yeah. I think now before, because what was it? Harold and Kumar?
Harold and Kumar, yeah.
Harold and Kumar get the munchies. So that I remember I watched that for the first time and I didn't know what White Castle was at all. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, this looks great. They literally made I don't know what it is in the States. Is it Harold and Kumar just get the munchies and go, or is it Harold and Kumar? No,
they did a few movies.
Yeah, no. So in Ireland, it's Harold and Kumar get the munchies, and in the States, it's Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I think is what it is. And I was watching it and goes, oh my God, that actually looks amazing. And then when I was living in Kentucky, we were literally driving down the highway, the motorway, as we call it, and I just saw White Castle, and I was like, what? This can't be right. This is strange. It's like, hey, we got to pull in and check it out. And I just fell in love with it. So I wish they were here, but I'm kind of happy that they're not, because if they were, I'd be 10 times the size I am now.
All right. Second question. So back in October, you hit the Jurassic Park ride.
Yes.
Now, did it live up to your expectations?
It did and it didn't, because I'll tell you why. Okay. So it was the one that I went on to when I was I didn't go on to it, like 4 or 5. So when I tried to get onto it was just purely Jurassic Park. And then like when we went to LA there in October, it was Jurassic World. So I knew that was happening, but it would have been great if it was Jurassic Park, but that's look, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, oh, what I don't want happening is if I'm here now, I don't want to forget what I remember when I was 4 or 5, you get me?
Yep.
Because you know the way you'd have like that core memory and you don't want it to be replaced by another core memory.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be, I was trying to have my expectations extremely high so that I would be a little bit disappointed, if you get me.
Yeah.
But no, it was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But I've done it and I just want to leave it there. Do you know what I mean? I just want to say, look, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
So yeah, check that box and you're,
Oh yeah, check the box is checked, and look, it was definitely something for me to like. It was one of the main reasons why I wanted to go to LA in the first place was to go back and see the Jurassic Park ride. And look, it's done. So I'm happy that it's done. But I'm very, very happy that I still have that core memory from when I was like 4 or 5. And I know there's people inside the chat being like, wait, how do you remember when you were 4 or 5? Listen, I'm a huge Jurassic Park nerd. Oh Jesus, yeah, I'd remember.
Yeah. Well, it's like me with Star Wars. Star Wars was my, I was 5 years old when it first came out, and I remember the drive-in, and that's you just never forget those things.
Exactly. Those little things, you'll never forget them. Doesn't matter what age you are.
Absolutely. All right, final question. Best thing about where you live?
The internet. The internet is 100%. Like, so for those who don't know, we moved into our new house, I think it was September. And before that, yeah, it was just before it was just before TwitchCon in the States, and we moved in. I think it was the week of. So the week of TwitchCon was when we moved in. It was October though. So before we moved into this place, I was living in the city. The internet was really, really good. And I was like, there's no way that I can get it better than what I have now. And then when we moved in, it was just like ultra speed.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. Now, I am in the country, so it is a little bit quieter. Yeah. But it was difficult for me to like fall asleep because, I'd fall asleep with like the in the city with the cars passing by and the ambulances and the polices and everything going off. So the sirens, it was kind of like a white noise.
Yeah.
So living out in the country, it's just dead quiet. Yeah. It is really, really nice waking up in the morning and just having a cup of coffee and just like looking out and just be like, this is actually really, really nice. I'm kind of like, I'm getting used to it now. So like if you were be like, oh Ed, you got to move back to the city, I'd be like, no, not happening. I live out in the country. I'm out in the country now. I've spent 10 years now in the country or in the city. I don't want to go back.
Yep. Nope. Nothing wrong with that. You like your space. And
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So you mentioned that you lived in Kentucky. So let's before we jump into video games. All right. How did you end up in Kentucky of all places? And what did they think of the accent?
Oh, so the accent kind of went away after a while. I'll be real with you because I was 18 when I moved, and I was only there for a wet week. Really, it just went by like that. And they love the accent, but then I was just surrounded by a really, really thick Southern accent. And then eventually I just kind of picked it up. So I had a terrible Irish Southern twang.
Wow.
It was brutal. It was disgusting. I remember when I came home, my parents were like, what are you talking about? What? And I was like, I'm sorry. But I feel like it was a way for me to like fit in, to try and like develop the accent as well.
Yeah.
You're young, you're 17, 18, you just want to kind of like fit in with whatever clique, whatever group that you're with, and you want to do your best to try and like be like them or whatnot. So I was like, oh, these guys are surrounded. I'm being surrounded by Americans, so I want to try and like do my best for trying to fit in.
Yeah.
But the more that I had the twang, the more they were just like, what are you saying? So I'd say for the first like month or two, it was a really, really strong accent. It was the accent that I have now.
Yeah.
And they loved it, but they didn't know. They didn't know I was Irish. They thought I was Scottish.
Oh,
They'd be like,
geez.
"Oh my gosh, are you from Scotland?" And I just be like, "No, I'm not. I'm from Ireland." And then they'd be like, "Isn't that the same thing?"
Oh,
And then that's what kind of that kind of brings me to the type of person I am today in the Tarkov content creation world, if you get me.
yeah.
The whole you probably know yourself, the whole is Ireland part of the UK and stuff. You know,
Yes.
so I that'll be the niche. But it just baffles me the amount of people in the States that think that Ireland and Scotland are the same. And look, I wouldn't blame you. They're very, very similar. But it's just, if you say that to an Irish person or if you say that to a Scottish person, they'd be like, what? But yeah, going back to what you originally said, no, they love the accent.
Yeah.
It was something like, it wasn't really, because I won't say the town that I was
Right.
staying in, but it was a small little town in Louisville, and they hadn't heard an Irish accent in person before.
Yeah.
So whenever I'd go into the local shop or something, I'd be ordering I'm not ordering, but I'd be getting like, I don't know, a couple of liters of milk or something
Yeah.
for the breakfast. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you have such a beautiful accent. Where are you from?" And I tell them, and they just be like, "What are you doing here?" And then I have to give them the whole spiel by saying that my uncle is just living up the road, and I'm here
Yeah.
now on break, and bloody bloody blue. And yeah, it was really really nice to I felt so welcomed.
Yeah.
And then that was like my adult life in the States, because before that I lived there when I was just a youngster back and forth,
Hmm.
because my father was a crazy businessman, so he was always traveling.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where he'd be like, "Oh, you need to come with us." So we went with him, and I was just given that kind of like holiday experience. I wasn't really ever given the adult experience, if you get me.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything was just, mom and dad paid for the dinner, mom and dad paid for breakfast,
Yeah.
mom and dad bought you little presents and stuff. I was a child, like I was only 5.
Yeah.
So everything was just a mystery for me. Everything was just it was new, it was big. Well, speaking of big, yeah, everything was big in America. In Ireland,
Yeah.
we were just, Jesus, we live in little cottages and stuff. But no, it was a huge experience. And then getting to see that as an adult, well, I'm not really an adult, but I was 18, young
Right.
adult. It was such an experience. And I felt at home, a home away from home, if you get me.
Yeah.
So, but it's gas though. Anytime someone's like, "Oh, you lived in America?" It's like, "Yeah, I lived in Kentucky." They're like, "Kentucky? What?"
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I don't know. Kentucky is very, very similar to Ireland in a way that everyone was just very friendly,
Yeah.
very, very friendly. Yeah.
Nice. And now when you came back from Ireland, came home to Ireland,
Mm.
what, you didn't start streaming then. What did you do when you came home?
When I came back home, I went back to college. I was in college for a year before I left, and I took a break, and then I went back again.
Yeah.
And I studied software development with game design, basically designing video games, programming, and all that. So I did that for 3.5 years, and I dropped out. I hated it. I
Mhm.
hated maths. I hated coding. I loved graphics. I loved design. I loved like designing maps and such.
Yeah.
So there was a game that I created on Unity, and it was something like Call of Duty Zombies, but it was in an American city, and I got my inspiration from Kentucky at the time when I was in Louisville City at the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to like kind of create a similar city that I was around a lot, and I wanted to make kind of like a horror type of zombie, kind of Daisy type of vibe game.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to do. But I was terrible at coding, so I couldn't make your main character go from point A to point B. I
Yeah.
could just design the map and make it look so nice.
Yeah.
So I remember I did that, and they were like, "You just give us a map." I was like, I'm just a designer. I can't do code." And they're like, "Right, maybe this isn't for you."
Yeah.
And when they said that, I was like, "Right, I think I just want to drop out now."
Yeah.
So then I dropped out, and I took maybe like 8 months to kind of decide what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
because I dropped out just before the second semester in college. So I was like, you know what? I think I dropped out around Christmas time. So I had from January up until like September to decide what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So then I went off and I did business or marketing and management for 4 years. And I remember every college assessment that I was given, or every assessment that I was given, or a project, whatnot, I always had it linked to video games. I wanted to be in marketing. I wanted to be in business with regards video games. There's only a handful of like game studios in Ireland,
Right.
but they're all primarily in Dublin. For those who don't know, like Dublin or Ireland is now one of the most expensive places to live in Europe. It's ridiculous. So if you wanted to do a 35 for like, I think it's like 30 to 35,000 euro salary at starting, you'd be paying more than half of that in rent or accommodation alone if you want. Yeah, it's nuts in Dublin. So I was like, right, is that what I kind of want to do? So I said, but look, I'll run it out. I'll just keep doing my projects and stuff and that, like video game related. A lot of my projects were related around Call of Duty or Fortnite. I remember when Fortnite first came out in like 2017, 2016. I fell in love with the game. I thought their marketing was fantastic. So I was like, could you imagine if I was like working for Epic Games? So I think that was my dream job at the time. I wanted to get some way into marketing in the video game sector, and I finished college and I went into finance. I went into finance.
Yeah.
I think like how I got into finance was it was my father's friend who had a business in the city. And he's like, look, just work there part-time during the summer and see what you get on. And I did, and I thought it was grand. The money was great.
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing nothing, but I was getting appraisal for doing something. So I was like, this is fantastic. I was the youngest fella there inside the office. So they were like, oh, look, we are getting some young inspiration. And in fairness, I had some very, very good ideas to get the business going with regards to marketing, have time to game. And I just like, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do this. And then COVID came.
Yeah.
And then in Ireland, everything locked down. It was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous thing I can ever think about. You weren't allowed to leave 2 kilometers from your home. And 2 kilometers is a stone throw down the road. It's ridiculous. So they had literal guards, or in Ireland we call them guards. They're the police force in your country, but we had guards every 2 kilometers. They had like a roadblock.
Yeah.
And unless you actually had a genuine reason to get past them, they wouldn't let you through.
That's crazy.
It was absolutely nuts. And I was going mad. I was like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
And myself and my girlfriend, we had planned to go to America that summer for a couple of months, and we were going to stay in with a mate of mine in LA. And we had our money saved up, and we couldn't go anywhere because of COVID. So I used my savings and I put it into a streaming kit. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do what I always wanted to do and be a content creator.
Yeah.
And I tried it. Yeah, I am a COVID streamer. I started around COVID. And it's crazy. It's been 2 years. And
it's wild.
It's mad. Like, look at me, Mom. Do you know? It's absolutely insane. Well, how far everything's come. It's mental.
And now, speaking of your mom, what do the folks think? Do they understand that, like, you're...
They do and they don't.
Like around the Christmas tree, they say, Ed, what's this? Why are you just playing video games? When are you going to get a real job?
I don't know. It's like, let's say, for instance, now, if COVID didn't happen and I quit my job and I just went straight at it, I'd say they would just be like ridiculously disappointed.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, their son is wearing a suit. Oh my God, their son has a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. He's surrounded by businessmen. This could be a good pension. This could be a good salary. This could be a good insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, I don't know. But now they see the success, they see the views, they see the messages from people that are sending me, and they genuinely see that I'm making a difference in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And they're extremely proud. I'm happy to say that they are proud, but they still don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So they think I tried explaining to them that I'm a streamer and I'm live streaming in front of an audience of such and such, but they think that I'm a streamer. Well, they think I'm just playing video games and I'm entertaining the guys that I'm playing with.
Right.
You get me? So they don't see it as, all right, so there's him, there's me, there's the guy that I'm playing, and there's my camera, and who I'm entertaining is the people that I come across and that I talk to. Because for those who don't know, my content in TikTok is primarily focused on interactions. It's just me like getting to talk with people and just being myself, having them be themselves, and just create a story and just create a bit of a laugh. And when I started showing my parents my TikToks, my YouTubes, and my streams, they just said, "Oh, he's just entertaining that person."
Right.
But then I messaged my father during drops, and he saw that I had, what was it, 2,000 people watching at one time.
Yeah.
And I explained to him, like, those are 2,000 people who are watching me right now.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of like ticked it off with him.
Yeah.
Now my mother, she's not really a techie person at all. I think it'll just be like safe for her to like realize, look, I'm just playing games and I'm having fun and I'm doing all right. Do you know, I'm doing okay. But whereas my father now, he's more like involved with it now. He's like, Jesus, you are like, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing something you've always wanted to do. But it's gas though, because growing up, my parents had a love-hate relationship with me playing video games. Like, you're wasting your time. You should be going out getting a job. Jesus, you know, it's ridiculous.
Well,
but now that they see all of this, and they're like, you know what, you're right. And it's kind of good for your parents to say that you were right.
Absolutely. Now let's go back a little bit and talk about why they have this love-hate relationship, because you jumped into video games and let's talk about your PC game, your first PC game that you bought.
Yeah, so the
first a PC.
The first so the first PC game that I ever bought was World of Warcraft. It was World of Warcraft, and what happened was, I don't know if you guys remember it, but there was South Park released an episode called Make Love Not Warcraft. And I loved it. It's one of my favorite South Park episodes ever. I think I was maybe 12 or 13 at the time. And I said, this is great. I want to do this with the guys at school. So I went down to GameStop and I saw it there. It was like a bundle. It was like the Last Crusade. So it was like the first one, and then there was the expansion, and you got it as like one big crate. And I think it was like $25.99 or $24.99 at the time in GameStop, and I got it. I was like, oh, I can't wait to play it now. And I went home, and then I saw the discs, and I was like, wait, hold up a minute. And then I turned it around, and it was for the PC. I was like, I don't have a PC. What am I supposed to do? And I went down to Mom, and I was like, Mom, we need to get a PC. And she was like, you have a PC. I was like, no, Mom, that's the PlayStation. I need to get a PC. And then she didn't know the difference between one and the other. And I tried to explain to her at the time what the difference was between the two. And she was like, okay, but like, what are the pros of you having a PC? And I was like, look, if you get a PC, I promise I'll do better in school. She was like, okay, she's like, how are you going to do that? I said, well, there's like, PowerPoint, and there's like Microsoft Word. I was like, I have like incredibly difficult dyslexia I have. And at the time, it was like 10 times worse than what I have now. And I was like, look, I'll start, I'll learn how to read better. I learn long words. I was like, but I can't without this PC. And she's like, okay, let's see if we can get you a PC. So we went down to in Ireland, we have Lidl and Aldi. In the States, or it'll be like, I don't know, your Walmart, it'll be your Walmarts and all that stuff. So I went down to Aldi, and there's a huge tech section in this one particular Aldi that we went into. And there was a PC there for, I think it was €300. And I saw it, and I didn't even check the specs. I just saw it. I was like, it's big. I want it. Let's do it. I was like, Mom, this is the one. This is it. And she goes, Ed, this is €300. We're not buying you this. And I was like, look, I'll do all the chores for the year. I'll do everything. I'll do whatever you want me to do. was like, just get the PC, let's do it. And so, long story short, we got it. And yeah, I never did any school work, or I never did any work whatsoever on the PC. All I did was played World of Warcraft. And I remember my parents, my mother and father, they went to Spain for I think it was like 10 days, 7 or 10 days. And it was just myself and my sister at home. And my sister was minding me. My uncle would check up on us. My grandparents would check up on us every so often. I took the whole week off of school just to play World of Warcraft. And then I realized, yeah, I have a problem. I was like, yeah, it's going to go downhill after this. But like, I wasn't the only one in my school that was on this World of Warcraft grind because of that bloody episode of South Park.
Now but hang on, you left out a key piece of this story. After you got the computer, you fired it up. What were you missing?
DayZ.
No, the internet.
Oh, the internet. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh my God. So that was it. Yeah. So that was the first time. That was the first year we moved into our new house, and we didn't before that we didn't have internet. So I didn't know what the internet was. I was only 11. I didn't know what the internet was then. There wasn't in Ireland. There wasn't much internet. It was just you go out, you do your bits and bobs, you come back. Now you played Halo, you played all these games, but you played with bots on and stuff. At my age, anyways, that time I can't remember. 2006, I think it was 2005. So when we moved into this house, there was no internet, and I didn't know what internet exactly was at the time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't download World of Warcraft, and I was like, why can't I download it? So I had to wait for months and months and months for my father's friend, who was an engineer at the time, to come over to the house to wire all the internet together. And then, yes, boom, we finally got the internet. So I booted it up and I was downloading. It said it'll take a week to download. I was like, what? It took me, I'm not kidding, it took me a full weekend. I left my PC on from Friday to Monday. And that Monday was when I took the whole week off just to play World of Warcraft, because I had World of Warcraft there by my shelf, and I couldn't touch it. I just looked at it every day coming home from school, and I was I was hearing my friends talk about it. I think it was like 3 months until I finally actually got to play it, until we got the internet. It was so difficult to get internet out into our house, because our house at the time was out in the country, and I mean it was deep in the country. So yeah, I make sure that you check the PC specs and make sure you have good internet connection if you're going to do it.
What have been some of the hardest things about since you hit that go live button, or just making your content?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is just being consistent. See, like, people, if someone wants to be, that's the most common question I get asked. It's like, oh, I want to be a streamer. No, sorry. The most common question I get asked is, how do I get paid to play video games? And that just drives me mad, because it's nothing to do with the money or anything like that I do for. Like, the money is great and all, but it's tough work. It really, really is. It's not getting on, pressing the go live button, and just playing a game. You have to be consistent on your socials, your YouTubes, your TikToks, your Instagram reels. You need to have, you need to be honest. You need to be straightforward. I think you don't necessarily have to be bubbly, but you have to be all right with talking with people if you want to be a content creator or a streamer. But I think the most difficult thing for any streamer is this consistency. It's a huge competitive industry to get into, and you need to be okay that you're going to have some bad months, bad years even, but those bad years and those bad months and bad days and whatnot, they're the ones that make the good days and good weeks and good months worth it. And you need to be all right with that. But I think being consistent when it comes to videos and such, that's probably the most important thing, I think. Yeah, I think so.
And now along the way, when did you get to a certain point where you knew this could be your career or your job, or was it just a gradual increase in views and whatnot?
After a year, um, I so I was streaming full time since the very beginning. I was very lucky. I wasn't one of those streamers who had a part-time job. For anyone that's watching, if you're streaming part-time and you have a full-time job, fair play to you. My hat goes off to you, because that's amazing. I never did that. I lost my job because of COVID. I couldn't work from home, so I went at it from day one up until now. So from point A to point B was maybe the full year, and then everything was kind of opening up, and I had to really sit down and be like, look, I'm not making enough to be able to say, look, I don't need to go out for a job. And I remember I got a message from my previous boss in the finance in insurance, and he said, look, if you want, you can come back. And I was like, do I really want to do it? And around this time when he sent me that message, I was going through like a lot of stuff personally. I won't go into detail with that, but it was enough for me to question, I think it's time for me to put up my headset and put away my mouse and keyboard and just go back to working a 9 to 5 and just go on from that. And I said, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. It's tough. It's what I'm doing right now. It's tough, but I know going forward for the rest of my life, until I'm brittle and my fingers have arthritis and I physically can't play games anymore, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And I said, look, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. It can't get worse than it already is. It can't. Yeah. So I kept plowing out, and it's crazy. This week, last year, I had 8,000 followers on Twitch. Yeah. And from here to March last year was the toughest time on Twitch, on my socials ever. Yeah. I couldn't come up with anything. I just had so many walls in front of me that I had to get over, and it was just tough. And then all of a sudden, I put up a video in March and it just blew up. Yeah. And I said, right, here's my niche. Let's go from there. Yeah. So I went from there, and here we are today. You know,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's huge. But I'm so grateful. I'm not. There's a lot of people don't come across a golden ticket, as you say. Yeah. And I feel like that was the golden ticket. But look, this goes for anyone out there that is striving to be a content creator. You will get the golden ticket. You will. Just keep at it. It'll take a month, 2, a year, 2 years, 3 years. You'll get it. You just keep going. Just keep going.
And now, since, now, looking back then to now, what's been a couple of the highlights that you look back like, holy crap, that happened? Or
I think one of the biggest highlights for me personally was probably TwitchCon and getting Twitch partner at TwitchCon.
Which leads into your Twitch story. How did you find out you got partnered?
So I applied, this was my 7th time. I applied 7 times for Twitch partner. And they all got declined, and I was like, what's going on? What's happening here, Twitch? What am I doing wrong? But look, I loved it because it was a way for me to keep fucking going every so often. I was like, right, I didn't get it this time, I'll get it the next time. I didn't get it that time, I'll get it the next time. But I decided, you know what, let's go to TwitchCon. Let's just do it. I mean, look, I the growth is insane of the channel. I feel like the least I can do is just go out to TwitchCon and just make the most of it, and meet some of my viewers and meet some of my idols and whatnot. Yeah. Myself and a buddy of mine, Jamak, we were in the airport in Dublin, and I get a notification on my phone when we were queuing up to actually board the plane. A notification on my phone from Twitch, and I was like, huh? And Jamak was like, well, what's wrong? I was like, I guarantee you now it's Twitch declining me. And I opened it up, and it just says, congratulations, you've been accepted to become a Twitch partner. I was like, what? This is mental. And Yeah, that was a huge highlight because I got the Twitch partner experience at my first ever TwitchCon, and it was totally unintended. I mean, like I did not expect to get partnered on my way to TwitchCon, my first ever TwitchCon. It changed everything. There was literal people stopping me at TwitchCon saying, "So you got partner, congratulations." I was like, "What?" Because the post went viral on Twitter, and saying, "Oh, small streamer gets partnered just before TwitchCon." I was like, "This is nuts." So that was most certainly a huge highlight because it was something that I wanted, and I really wanted, and the hard work paid off. You know, yeah. So that was a huge highlight for. Now look, there's a dozen highlights from 2022. There's a dozen of them. I have so many. But one that a lot of maybe viewers here now that they can relate to is getting that partner ticked, you know, and I feel like it's such an important story to tell for Twitch streamers and other streamers as well. When you're getting partnered or verified at an app, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
And now, so now you ended up going to America and experienced TwitchCon over here. How was that experience?
It was good, but we had some shady experiences in San Diego. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I mean, like where do I start? So I think if I had a better experience in San Diego, I would have liked San Diego more.
Yeah.
But because I had such a bad experience in San Diego, I just don't want to go back. To put it simply, I'm so sorry for those who are from San Diego inside here, but I don't know. So myself and Pep, we booked a hotel. It wasn't a hotel. Put it that way, right? It wasn't a hotel that we booked, but it looked so pretty. The reviews were amazing. It was like a 4-star hotel. It was a decent price, and it was fairly close to the convention center. It was a disaster.
Oh no!
It was like if we were in a bloody crackdown. It was nuts. It was crazy. It was you couldn't write a better thriller. Yeah. You know, it was insane. So where we were staying, it was pretty bad. I was locked out of my room twice.
Yeah.
And I have some pretty bad asthma. I'm very, very nasally now. I'm sorry because we were washing Lily. I don't know if you can. Yeah. She's asleep there. But I have very, very bad allergies, and I had all my medication in my room. I was locked out of my room twice. There was no receptionist. It was totally self-catering. It wasn't clean. Yeah. The pictures on the booking.com did not match up to the pictures that we were in.
Lord.
Pep didn't even get a bathroom. You know, it was just chaotic. It was nuts. And then the waiters and waitresses, they were very, very rude. I don't know why they were so rude to me especially, or to our group and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was 3 waiters or 3 waitresses, and they were just, it was not but rudeness. Now maybe it was because it was a convention, and everyone was a little bit like fed up. But in Amsterdam, it was just a completely different experience. Yeah. It was crazy. Everyone was just so nice. Everyone was friendly. There was no issues whatsoever. Accommodation was great. But it was a little disappointing. Now the convention itself was great. Yeah. But I feel like there needed to be a lot more to do. I don't know what that is. I feel like we did more in Amsterdam than we did in San Diego. But
now, do you mean from a TwitchCon standpoint or outside of TwitchCon?
Yeah, I think it's a TwitchCon standpoint. I think I feel like maybe the TwitchCon in Amsterdam, it was just a bigger venue. I felt like, and I don't know. Maybe it was just my bad experiences outside of TwitchCon in San Diego was what made it dislike it a bit.
Yeah.
But look, I met some fantastic people. I had more good things in San Diego. I had so much good, like the people that I met, the friends I've met,
Yeah.
The people who I looked up to. I mean, I met Pestily. There were so many content creators there that I looked up to that I actually physically met and I got talking to, which was amazing. And all of that made it like incredible. But there was like, for me, there was a few negative things that happened. That there was maybe like 5 negative things that happened, but I had like 500 good things that happened to me.
Yeah.
But those 5 negative things is what made me like, ugh, you know, I don't know if I'd go back again. But like with TwitchCon this year, definitely Paris. I don't know what's happening in the States. I'd like to go to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall it was good. But I feel like maybe if we got better accommodation,
Yeah.
if there wasn't really many rude people around,
Yeah.
I would have loved it even more. You know, I would have absolutely loved it. But I met my family for the first time in 25 years.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic. The weather was beautiful. Oh my god! For those who don't know, in Ireland we get nothing but rain. It's storming outside right now. I was like, oh god, I hope I can do this interview because it's pissing out. There's like a thunderstorm outside. Crazy, a thunderstorm in Ireland in January. That does not happen at all.
Yeah.
So it's always rain. But in San Diego it was just warm.
Yeah.
And it was so nice, and I got to wear my shorts every day and stuff. It was great. It was amazing. And then, but yeah.
And now you brought up a good point there. You know, you're talking about, you know, going to TwitchCon in Paris, maybe coming across the pond to the States again. But as a content creator, taking those breaks has a big impact to your it affects you hugely.
Yeah. As in the breaks in between. So like, are you saying the breaks
From a
is
financial standpoint, you take
Oh,
that. You know,
yeah.
you can't really afford to take the time away because
No, you can't. Like, it's as a content creator, breaks are like a thing that isn't talked about as a content creator, and I feel like it needs to be.
Yeah.
So when I went to San Diego, I took a 10-day break from streaming. You
notice the difference.
Oh, a huge difference, yeah, massive. So when I went to Amsterdam, I only went away for 4 days. I went away Thursday and I came back Monday. I didn't really like. It was like a long weekend for me because I take the weekends off. I stream Monday to Friday, and then I take the weekends off. So it was like a long weekend for me. I actually streamed the day I was leaving. Just believe it or not, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm all packed. I'm just gonna go. I'll talk to you later. So that's what I did. But then the long break, it wasn't even a long break, but that long of a break, like stats wise, oh dude, it was huge. It was massive. But I was kind of ready for that. I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But look, it did me good. But even though it was a breakaway, it was still, I was on my feet like 24/7. I'd say maybe got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep and a night like. And I was technically still working.
Right.
So it wasn't a break, but it was a break from the stream. But as a streamer or content creator, long breaks really, really does damage your algorithm, your SEOs as well. So you just have to be mindful that, look, it's okay to take a break for your head mentally, but just be okay that if you have let's say a 30 average now, and if you take like a 10-day break, it's all right. You might have a 10 average when you come back. You know, don't worry. It'll come back. It'll come back. It's healthy to have a break. It is.
It is. Yeah.
But just be mindful that that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a bit of a kick into the shins when you take a break.
Definitely. All right. So now, what was your path to Tarkov? This game that has us here right now talking live in front of thousands of people. So how did you find the game?
So it was like I played it on and off 2 years ago. It was the guys that I kind of grew up playing DayZ with. They were playing it. and they're like, "Oh, Ed, you should give it a go." And I just thought it was too hard. I was like, "This is so much harder than Warzone. Like, I can't do this. Well, I got to peek. I gotta like the magazine's gotta be in my rig." I was like, "Nah, this is I can't do this game. This is not." I remember when I first started playing it, I couldn't get my head across that my magazines had to be in my rig to reload. I had them in my bag, and I couldn't. It didn't make sense for me. I was like, I have them on me, but it's the whole thing, my Bob, with taking them out of your vest. But so like, I played maybe a weekend of it 2 years ago, and I put up a TikTok, and that TikTok went viral, and I was like, "Oh, hold on, okay, this TikTok went viral. Let's see if we can get another one." But I was just so stressed out all the time. I was like, I can't do it. I can't. It's too hard. So then I took a year break, and I remember I said at the time when I was playing it, I says, "Could you imagine if this game had VoIP?" I was like, "Could you imagine if it had proximity chat? It'd be amazing. It'd be so good. You'd be able to play the game, you make a friend, and that's your friend for the whole raid." It's like, that'd be fantastic. It was like, "Nikita, come on, give us VoIP, give us proximity chat." We didn't get it for a year. So I didn't play the whole game for a year. I went back and I was just a Warzone streamer. But then a few streamers came in, like Gingy, for instance. She was saying, "Oh no, you should go back and give it a go again." And I was like, And then when they announced that VoIP was coming, I was like, "Fucking go, let's do it, come on." So I remember I went back the VoIP at Christmas last year, and I loved it because I was having so many fun VoIP interactions. I was loving it. It was so much fun. I enjoy the game, and even though it was very, very tough for me to get my head around, like, right now the rig's got to be in, or the mags got to be in the rigs, right? These bullets have to, or these rounds got to go into these mags, and blah 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 blah. And I was getting my head around it. Now I'm still a terrible Tarkov player. I'm brutal. I think this wipe is possibly the hardest wipe it's so hard. Now the scavs, they need to take a chill, bro. They just need to just park their fucking brakes or whatnot and just chill the beans. Like, keep getting killed. I'm hoping that I come across a PMC or whatever rather than a scav. But anyways, that's going off topic. But it was more like, it was streamers that were telling me, "Oh no, look, give it a go." And then I gave it a go, and I put up another TikTok, and that went viral. And I was like, "All right, let's keep doing this. Let's do it. Let's do it." And the more that I was seeing people come into my streams actually enjoying my content, the more I enjoyed the game. And I was like, "Okay, this is great. Let's keep going." And I just fell in love with it. The community is amazing. There's no other gaming community out there like the Tarkov community. They're just so nice. They're so honest. I mean, that's my experience. Maybe someone else hasn't, but I'm just blessed that the circle of people, the community that I know in the Tarkov community, everyone is just so honest with me, and they're just they welcomed me with open arms when I first started playing Tarkov. You know,
and that you bring up another point I wanted to talk to you about. You coming from the Warzone community or Call of Duty community into Tarkov. It is a big difference. It is huge. A big change.
Yeah, huge difference. It was.
Yeah, and from a positive standpoint.
Oh yeah, Jesus, no, God, Call of Duty. Oh, no way, no, thank you. I don't think that Call of Duty should have given proximity chat. I'm just saying it. It was a good idea, but oh my God, I've seen more negativities with that proximity chat than positives. It's just so toxic. Now I know Tarkov can be toxic too.
Yeah,
and it has been a little bit toxic for the first couple of weeks of wipe, but I guarantee you that's all the Call of Duty kids coming over.
Yeah,
guarantee you. It's crazy the amount of Call of Duty kids that came over to Tarkov, and they're just exploiting it all. You know.
Yeah. Now, something I found with the Tarkov community and the content creators are involved with is the amount of charity work that the different content creators are doing. And
Yeah.
so I've got I know two things from you. First of all, you had the VoIP interaction with that firefighter. You want to share that story?
Oh yeah, Chris. Okay, so for those who don't know, I was playing in Lighthouse maybe like a month or two ago. We'll say 2 months ago, and I came across this player called Chris, and I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he was like, "Oh, from Chicago." I was like, "Oh, geez, I got family in Chicago." I was like, "Are you Irish?" Because the majority of people in Chicago, they're half of them are Irish nearly. And he goes, no, I'm not. But like his best friend is, and he started going off saying that himself and his best friend work in the fire department. I was like, what? That's amazing. I was like, Jesus, I'm talking to a real life hero. So I just asked him. I was just like, have you gotten any stories or anything to tell me? I was like, what are your experiences? What is the craziest experience that you had as a fireman? And he said that he pulled a lady out of a fire once, and he was the only one that was there at the time. He just went in and just basic instinct took her out, and she lived, but she got some pretty bad burnt marks and blah blah blah. So I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And then he asked me a question. The question was, and it melted my heart. He was like, so do you normally play alone? And I was like, yeah, no, I do. Do you know, I just, you know, I don't necessarily play alone. I normally do, but I know anyway, I don't. But I said, no, I do. And he goes, oh, dude, he's like, don't worry, man. If you want, we have a Discord for Tarkov players. He's like, I'm in there all the time. He's like, you can join us. You'll never be alone.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Are you serious? I was like, this dude is in like his mid-30s and he's just chill, and he's like, he got the time for me, and he's offered me into his Discord to be friends with him. I was like, that's amazing. That's incredible. So I played it off that I was playing Tarkov and I didn't know how to play and stuff.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole stream or the whole interaction, he was like, teach me how to play. He was really, really patient. He was like, oh, this is good loot. That's good loot, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, I just asked him, I was like, look, in Chicago, oh no, wait, sorry. I got killed in the raid, and I had him as a friend.
Yeah.
And sorry, no, he added me as a friend. And he goes, you died, I got your stuff out, let's run it back. I was like, what? This is nuts. So then I told him who I was, and I said, my name is Mr. Gibbon. I'm a streamer and I do it full time. And look, I was like, look, you're possibly one of the most genuine person I've ever come across in this game, or any game that was. And I asked him if he had an Xbox or a PlayStation in his firehouse, and he said he doesn't. I was like, well, look, as a Christmas present, I'm going to get you one.
Yeah.
So I was so blessed to have a fantastic community, because I didn't realize at the time that in America, PlayStation 5s were sold out. You couldn't get them just before the Christmas buzz. But then I had a viewer of mine who actually buys and sells PlayStations and Xboxes and all other sorts of consoles. And she was like, look, I have a PlayStation 5 right here. It's for you. So I'll do it. I was like, oh, great. That viewer actually physically drove all the way down to the firehouse and handed him a PlayStation 5.
No way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And she handed it to him, got a picture, and he sent me... Hold on, what's yours? This is cool.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that so cool?
That is the Dirty Dozen. That's very cool.
Like, it's... Oh, I was so blessed. But we got the PlayStation, and you sent me a picture. We just lost touch then after that. You know, like he has his job to do, I have my job to do. Just lose touch. I come across him again 2 months later, randomly in a completely different raid.
Yeah, and
it was so funny. It was like I get into a firefight with a player. I was a scav and he was a PMC, and I get into a firefight. Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna kill this dude. You know, I'm going to show him who he's messing with. And he's like, I started shouting all sorts of Irish at him, and he goes, wait, is that Mr. Gibbon? I was like, who the fuck is this dude? I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh man, I'm not going to kill you. It's your buddy. I was like, who the fuck's my buddy? Who? And he was like, it's Chris, man, the fireman. And I was like, no shot. And he was like, yeah, he got the PlayStation.
Yeah.
They got a TV. They have it all rigged up. He bought God of War, and his mates are playing NFL and NBA all the time. And I was just like, I better not be the reason why you don't go out for a call because you're all playing the fucking God of War or something. But it was amazing, man. It was like it was by far one of my favorite TikTok encounters that I've had in the game.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now, speaking of the NFL, how's your team doing? Because didn't you were at the beginning of the season, you were looking for an NFL team to pick. And...
I was new. I haven't even looked at football, man. I work nearly 12 hours a day. I don't have time to put my feet up and chill out. I barely have time to talk to my family. I wish I could watch football. I'm dying to watch football. But I just don't have the time.
Didn't somebody reach out to you? Some player reached out to you?
Yeah, there was AJ Dillon for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
So like, look, I technically have to say that I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. Yeah. He's a fucking AJ. but I don't like. I've been to one football game in my life. It was the Cincinnati Bengals. It was a fantastic experience. I want to watch football. I really do. But in Ireland, you can watch it, but you're paying like $100 or €100 a month to watch it. I'm just like, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's like, Jesus, American ads are bloody expensive. So I just said, you know what? I'd much rather use that €100 to go towards something else, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to get into it, but it's just, Jesus, noof, I just don't have the time. Don't.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, adding on to the charity piece of it, you had just did a fundraiser a couple of weeks ago for Make-A-Wish. Now, how did you get involved with that? And how much did you guys end up raising?
We ended up raising €14,000.
That's amazing.
In one day, which it's incredible. It's unbelievable. I sat down, myself and Zoe, and I was just like, look, I had such a fantastic year, and I want to give it back. And we were looking at charity organizations, and I feel like the one that really stood out was Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
And the reason why that one stood out so much is because they're so vast. They're not like pinpointed on like one hospital or one agency or one like that. Like Make-A-Wish are just, they go everywhere. They're worldwide. And the whole point of the charity stream is for me to get my first ever kappa within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I want to like dedicate it to a charity of my choice. Would you be up for it? So we got into a phone call with them 2 or 3 days before the actual charity event. And I had to like sit down with them for a full hour explaining what Escape from Tarkov was. Because they're like, wait, okay, if we're going to be getting involved, it has to be PG. And I was like, I ain't PG. So we had to kind of come up with like some sort of strategy where it was like, right, we need to have some incentives. Yeah. So we sat down, just plowed out some ideas and such, and that was it. I did not like, the first goal was 5,000. Yeah. The second goal was, I think, 8,000. Yeah. Third goal was 10,000, and then we finished off at 14. I was just like, this is unbelievable. I had so many of my viewers, so many of my community, so many raiders as well that came in, and they wouldn't stop donating, and it was so amazing to see. And I was thinking about it, that 24-hour stream went by like that, and it was because of Tarkov. Right. There are so many charity streamers, or there's so many streamers out there that are doing charity events, like Dr. Lupo, for instance, when he did the one for St. Jude, and Tim and Ames and all them, and so many other streamers got involved as well. Majority of that charity event and everyone else, it was all around Tarkov. Yeah. There's no other game that can say that. I know. There is no charity streams in Call of Duty. There's no charity streams in Fortnite that I've seen recently. Yeah. There is just charity streams after charity streams in Escape from Tarkov. and that just shows how amazing this game is, this community is, and that's why I'm not leaving it. It's put it simply. I mean, that's why I love it so much. But yeah, no, it was huge. And I'll say this: what happened was there was one. It's really quick. There was one person I met in the game, and for those who don't know, my whole niche is asking people if Ireland's part of the United Kingdom, and if they say it is, I shoot them because it's not. So I go around asking, "Oh, is Ireland part of the UK?" And they're like, yeah, or no. So I said that I would have to donate a dollar or whatever for every time someone said that it was.
Yeah.
So the first person I came across was I can't remember. I can't remember his name now, but I came across him and I stopped. Like, we had a conversation. The conversation was amazing, and at the end of the conversation, I said, "Look, I'm doing a charity stream on Twitch." I was like, I'm asking people if they think Ireland's part of the United Kingdom, and if you get it wrong, or if you get it wrong, I have to donate. If you get it right, I don't. And then he was like, "So if I say it like a dozen times, would you have to donate like $12?" I was like, yeah. So he said it, and I killed him, and he came into the stream and he donated $100.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
It's just like, it was huge. It was massive. It was incredible. So yeah, that was some charity event. Anyways, it was amazing.
Yeah, and it speaks volume to your community and to Tarkov community, as you know, just like you said, from smaller streamers to bigger streamers like Lupo. There's past Veritas. They just raise so much money, and Markstrom is another one. And Deadly Slide. Like, you go around the names, they're all involved.
There's hundreds of names. It's so good. It's amazing to see. So fair play to them, and keep doing it. Keep going.
Yeah. And now, when you shared that with your mom, what was her reaction?
Oh, she was just like. So when I shared it with my mother, like my father had a bigger reaction.
Oh,
because my mother was just like, she didn't understand it.
Yeah.
She thought that Escape from Tarkov donated the money, if you get me.
Yeah.
She didn't realize it was the viewers. Whereas my father was like, "Holy shit, like, what? Your community is insane." But my mother was very, very happy, of course.
Yeah.
But she thought that it was like, sure, Jesus, like, Escape from Tarkov, millions of money. That's nothing to them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But my father was like, no. Like, it was people's, it was your viewers, it was your community's hard-earned money, and they decided to put that in. So it was good. Like, they were happy that, geez, my son raised 14 grand. You know, and to be saying that from playing a video game is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So now, when you step away from creating content, what are some of the things you and Zoe like to do?
Well, she loves traveling. That's like the New Year's resolution this year, is to travel a bit more. Gym. I love cooking. Cooking. My God. But I didn't go. I hadn't been to the gym in like a month, and I went back for the first time there two days ago or 3 days ago. My God, I'm stiff. I'm so stiff after a month. I got all the Christmas turkey and everything kind of went down swimmingly. But for hobbies, I mean, video games has always been a hobby. Like, there's a difference between streaming a video game and just like turning off the stream and just like relaxing and just playing.
Not being on.
Just not being on. I mean, look, I'm this 24/7, but I just like to, sometimes I just like to just sit there and just play and just be immersed in it. I love single player games, but single player games wouldn't be like my forte for like content or streaming. No, I will be streaming the new Star Wars game when that comes out. I'm waiting for that. It's gonna be good. But like, look, hobbies wise, video games always have a place. Traveling, gym, food. I did say I would try and read a little bit more this year. And I say that every year. Doesn't happen because with my brain, ADHD, just put the book away. Do you know? Oh, read that chapter. Gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
All
For
right.
now, I think, Joe. I mean, you know yourself, Noof. It's like as a streamer, content creator, you don't really have time for hobbies.
Yeah.
You don't like. I'm a baby. You know, I've only been doing this for 2.5 years.
Yep.
Jesus, I'm still baby walking. Do you know what I mean? Until maybe like 5-6 years, that's when I can like chill.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of like taking all my go traveling. I'd love to go traveling. I would love
You got
to.
to make it to Newfoundland. It's gonna be like going to New Ireland.
Definitely. Oh, it'll be like home away from home, like you said the last time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm dying to go to Korea or to Japan. I'd love to go to South Korea though. I just want to. I'd love. It's like it's somewhere I never thought I would want to go, but now I'm just like I'm seeing all these IRL streamers like Jake and Bake. He's always over there, and I'm just like, I want to go over. And then when I met Jake and Bake at TwitchCon in Amsterdam, I was briefly chatting with him for about 10 minutes, and I was just asking him these questions about like Korea and Japan and China and all them.
Yeah.
And he was just saying, he's like, dude, you just gotta go. You gotta go. I was like, that's what we gotta do. So I'd like to go there in the future.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, you know, we're wrapping up here. Thank you so much for doing this. Always nice to
Has it been an hour?
It's been, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's, you know.
My God, time flies. We're having fun, eh?
Absolutely. You sound Canadian with that A. You know,
bud.
Now, before we let you go, though, now, you know, at the end of every podcast, we ask somebody to, you know, shout out who should come on the pod, and you know, who do you think should come on?
Oh, have you interviewed Nikita?
I haven't.
There you go. Challenge.
Right.
Get him in. Come on, Nikita.
Right, there we go. Excellent. All right, Nikita, Gibbons called you out. You have to come on.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to thank BSG for this wonderful opportunity for the last week. I've had fantastic people on. You know, we started with Gingy, then Junkers, Pest, Afraid, and now ending with, you know, Mr. Gibbon. And
saving the best for last.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. Like, you know, like Pest said, if he had to do it all over again, he'd follow your steps.
Jesus, mad.
That is amazing. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the day, and the drops are bountiful. And take care. Thank you, Mr. Gibbon.
Thank you so much for having me as well.